you're not where you want to be in life right now, it's not because of the economy, it's not because of your boss, and it's not because you haven't caught your big break yet. It's because you've been lying to yourself every morning for years. You tell yourself you'll start tomorrow, you'll exercise next week, you'll read that book next month, you'll work on your goals next year. Meanwhile, the people who are getting the results you want or doing what you keep promising yourself you'll do someday, they're not waiting for motivation. They're not waiting for the perfect moment, and they're certainly not waiting for someone to give you permission. While you're making excuses about why you can't spend 1 hour on yourself each morning, they're building the life you only dream about. The uncomfortable truth is that your excuses are more creative than your solution. Let me tell you something that will change your life forever. The first hour of your day determines the quality of the next 23 hours. Most people wake up and immediately check their phone, rush to get ready, grab a cup of coffee, and wonder why their life feels out of control. They're programming their mind for chaos before their feet even hit the floor. I learned this lesson the hard way. When I was 25, broke, and working as a stock clerk, my days started in panic. I'd wake up stressed about bills, worried about my future, and filled with doubt about whether I'd ever amount to anything. My mentor, Earl Schoaf, asked me a simple question that changed everything. He said, "Jim, what's the first thing you do when you wake up?" When I told him I usually worried about money, he shook his head and said, "Son, you're programming your mind for poverty before breakfast." That conversation led me to understand something powerful. Your mind is like a garden, and the first hour of your day is like the morning watering. Whatever you feed it will grow throughout the day. Feed it worry, and worry grows. Feed it doubt, and doubt multiplies. But feed it the right things, and your entire life transforms. I'll never forget the day I decided to change my morning routine. I was tired of being tired, tired of being broke, tired of feeling like life was happening to me instead of for me. I made a decision that morning routines weren't just for successful people. They were how people become successful. That single decision changed everything for me, and it can change everything for you too. Think about this for a moment. You spend about 1/3 of your life sleeping. When you wake up, your mind is fresh, clear, and ready to be programmed. This is the most valuable real estate in your entire day. Yet most people give this precious time away to whoever screams the loudest. The news media gets it, social media gets it, other people's emergencies get it. Everyone gets your best mental real estate except you. Here's what most people don't understand about success. It's not about one big moment or one lucky break. Success is about what you do consistently, day after day, especially in those quiet morning moments when nobody's watching. The most successful people I know don't have special talents or secret advantages. They have better morning routine. I've studied successful people for over 40 years. Millionaires, business leaders, athletes, artists, and people who've achieved extraordinary things in ordinary circumstances. They all have different backgrounds, different skills, and different opportunities. But they all have one thing in common. They guard their mornings like their life depends on it. Because it does. Your brain is incredibly powerful, but it's also incredibly programmable. Every morning you have a choice. You can program it for success or program it for struggle. You can rewire it for abundance or let it stay wired for scarcity. The choice is always yours. But you have to make it consciously, deliberately, and consistently. Most people let their mornings happen by accident. They wake up whenever they wake up. They do whatever feels urgent. They react to whatever shows up first. Then they wonder why their whole life feels random and out of control. Your morning sets the tone for your entire day, and your days determine your entire life. Today I want to share with you 5 simple things you can do every morning that will completely rewire your mind. These aren't complicated strategies or expensive programs. They're simple practices that anyone can do, but most people won't. That's why most people live ordinary lives while a few live extraordinary ones. But before I share these 5 practices, let me warn you about something. Knowledge without application is worthless. Information without implementation changes nothing. You can learn these 5 things, understand them completely, and even teach them to others. But if you don't do them consistently, they won't work for you. Success requires action, not just information. The first thing you must do every morning is feed your mind with something valuable. I call this mental nutrition, and it's just as important as physical nutrition. Maybe more important. Your mind is hungry when you wake up. It's been resting for 8 hours, and now it's ready to absorb whatever you give it. Most people feed their mind junk first thing in the morning. They check social media and fill their head with other people's problems. They turn on the news and load up on negativity, fear, and things they can't control. They grab their phone and start their day reacting to what everyone else thinks is important. This is like eating candy for breakfast and wondering why you feel sick by lunch. Let me tell you what happens when you start your day with mental junk food. Your mood drops before you even get dressed. Your confidence shrinks before you face your first challenge. Your focus scatters before you tackle your most important work. You're programming yourself for a day of reaction instead of action, weakness instead of strength, confusion instead of clarity. I see people everywhere walking around like zombies, staring at their phones, consuming endless streams of information that makes them feel worse about themselves and their lives. They're addicted to the drama, the outrage, the constant stimulation of other people's opinions. They think they're staying informed, but they're actually staying overwhelmed. Here's what I learned from Earl Schoaf about information consumption. He said, Jim, your mind is like a fertile garden. Whatever seeds you plant will grow. Plant corn, get corn. Plant weeds, get weeds. Most people are planting mental weeds every morning and wondering why their life looks like a weed patch. Instead, feed your mind something that will make you stronger, wiser, and more capable. Read something that inspires you. Study something that teaches you. Listen to something that motivates you. Spend at least 15 minutes, preferably 30, putting valuable thoughts into your head before you put anything else in there. I've been reading every morning for over 40 years. Not because I have to, but because I know what it does for me. It sets the tone for my entire day. When I read something that challenges me to grow, something that teaches me a new way to think, or something that reminds me of what's possible, I start my day as a different person than I was the night before. Reading is like taking a mental shower. It washes away the residue of yesterday's problems and fills your mind with fresh ideas, new possibilities, and proven wisdom. It connects you with the greatest minds in history. It gives you access to knowledge that took others years to acquire and lifetimes to master. Here's what happens when you read consistently. Your vocabulary improves so you can express yourself better. Your knowledge increases so you can solve problems more effectively. Your perspective expands so you can see opportunities others miss. Your confidence grows so you can take action when others hesitate. All of this from 30 minutes of reading each morning. But here's the key. Don't read just anything. Read books that make you better. Read biographies of people you admire. Read books about personal development, leadership, or your chosen field. Read philosophy that challenges you to think deeper. Read success stories that show you what's possible. Make every page count. I remember when I first started this practice, I was broke and thought I couldn't afford books. Earl Schoaf told me something I'll never forget. He said, Jim, if you can't afford to buy books, you can't afford not to buy books. He was right. The cost of ignorance is far higher than the cost of education. Think about it this way. A good book costs about the same as a meal at a restaurant. But a meal satisfies you for a few hours. A good book can satisfy you for a lifetime. It can change how you think, what you believe, and what you do. It can open doors you never knew existed and show you paths you never knew were possible. Some people say they don't have time to read, but they have time to scroll through social media for hours. They have time to watch television shows that add nothing to their life. They have time to gossip about other people's problems. The truth is, everyone has time. The question is, how are you choosing to invest it? Here's my challenge for you. For the next 30 days, don't check your phone, turn on the television, or consume any news until after you've fed your mind with something valuable. Start with just 15 minutes. Read something that inspires you, teaches you, or challenges you to become better. Watch what happens to your day, your week, your entire life. The second thing you must do is move your body. I don't care if it's push-ups, stretching, walking, or a full workout. Get your blood flowing and your heart pumping. Your body and mind are connected in ways most people don't understand. When you strengthen your body, you strengthen your mind. When you discipline your body, you build mental discipline. Physical activity releases chemicals in your brain that make you feel better, think clearer, and handle stress more effectively. It builds confidence because you're keeping promises to yourself. It creates energy that lasts throughout the day. It reminds you that you're in control of your life. Here's something most people don't realize about successful people. They're not necessarily the smartest people in the room. They're not always the most talented or the most educated, but they almost always have more energy than everyone else. Energy is the foundation of all achievement. Without energy, knowledge is useless. Without energy, good intentions become empty promises. I've noticed something interesting over the years. The people who exercise regularly seem to handle pressure better than those who don't. They stay calm in crisis situations. They think more clearly under stress. They bounce back faster from setbacks. It's not just because they're physically stronger. It's because they've trained their mind to push through resistance. Every time you exercise when you don't feel like it, you're building mental toughness. Every time you complete a workout when you'd rather stay in bed, you're proving to yourself that you can do hard things. This confidence carries over into every area of your life. You start believing you can overcome any obstacle, achieve any goal, become any person you decide to become. You don't need a gym membership or expensive equipment. You can do jumping jacks in your living room. You can walk around your neighborhood. You can stretch on your bedroom floor. You can do push-ups against the wall. You can run up and down your stairs. The key is consistency, not intensity. Start small and build gradually. 5 minutes is better than 0 minutes. I remember when I first started exercising regularly. I was out of shape and embarrassed about how weak I'd become. I could barely do 10 push-ups without getting winded. But I made a commitment to myself. I would do something physical every morning, even if it was just for 5 minutes. Some days I did push-ups. Some days I stretched. Some days I just walked around the block. The amazing thing wasn't how my body changed, although it did. The amazing thing was how my mind changed. I started feeling more confident in business meetings. I had more energy for my family. I slept better at night. I handled stress more effectively. I felt like I could tackle bigger challenges and pursue bigger dreams. Here's what exercise does for your brain that most people don't know. It increases blood flow to your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decision-making, problem-solving, and emotional regulation. It releases endorphins, which are natural mood elevators. It reduces cortisol, the stress hormone that clouds your thinking. It promotes the growth of new brain cells and strengthens the connections between them. I've exercised almost every morning for decades, not because I love it every day, but because I love how it makes me feel and think. When I exercise in the morning, I'm sharper in meetings, more patient with people, and more creative in my work. My body feels better and my mind works better. The third thing is to fuel your body properly. What you eat and drink in the morning affects your energy, mood, and mental clarity. 4 hours. Your brain uses about 20% of your body's energy, and it needs quality fuel to function at its best. Start with water. Your body is dehydrated after 8 hours of sleep, and even mild dehydration affects your thinking. Most people don't realize they're walking around dehydrated most of the time. They feel tired, foggy, and sluggish, and they think it's normal. But often, they just need more water. Drink at least 1 large glass of water before you consume anything else. Some people like to add lemon for vitamin C and flavor. Some people prefer room temperature water. Others like it cold. The temperature doesn't matter as much as the habit. Hydration is the foundation of physical and mental performance. Then eat something that gives you sustained energy, not a sugar rush followed by a crash. Your brain needs steady fuel to function at its best. When your blood sugar spikes and drops, your thinking becomes erratic. You feel energized for an hour, then tired and hungry. You make poor decisions when you're hungry, and you're hungry when you eat the wrong foods. I'm not a nutritionist, but I know this much: protein helps you feel full and focused. It provides the building blocks for neurotransmitters, the chemicals that allow your brain cells to communicate. Complex carbohydrates give you steady energy without the roller coaster effect of simple sugars. Healthy fats support brain function and help you absorb important vitamins. Simple sugars make you tired and hungry an hour later. They cause your blood sugar to spike, then crash. When your blood sugar crashes, your thinking becomes cloudy, your mood becomes irritable, and your willpower weakens. You make poor decisions when your brain isn't getting steady fuel. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being consistent with good choices. You don't have to eat the same thing every day or follow a complicated plan. Just make sure you're giving your body and brain the fuel they need to perform at their best. Here's what I've learned about nutrition and success. Successful people don't necessarily eat perfectly, but they eat intentionally. They think about how food will affect their performance, not just how it tastes. They choose foods that give them energy instead of foods that drain their energy. They eat to fuel their dreams, not to satisfy their emotions. The fourth thing you must do is review your goals and visualize your success. Most people set goals once a year and then forget about them. That's like planting a garden and never watering it. Goals need daily attention to become reality. Every morning, read your goals out loud, not just once, but regularly enough that they become part of your subconscious programming. When you read your goals daily, several things happen. You stay focused on what matters most. You notice opportunities that align with your objectives. You make decisions that move you closer to your desired outcomes. Here's something most people don't understand about goals. Writing them down once isn't enough. Reading them occasionally isn't enough. You have to program them into your subconscious mind through daily repetition. Your subconscious mind is like a powerful computer that works 24 hours a day. But it can only work on what you program into it. I learned this from studying the most successful people I could find. They all had one thing in common. They knew exactly what they wanted. And they reminded themselves of it every single day. Not just the big goals, but the smaller ones too. Not just the financial targets, but the personal growth objectives. Not just what they wanted to have, but who they wanted to become. Most people's goals are vague wishes. They want to be successful, but they can't define what success looks like. They want to be happy, but they don't know what would make them happy. They want to make more money, but they don't have a specific target. Vague goals produce vague results. Specific goals produce specific results. Your goals should be written down, specific, measurable, and reviewed daily. They should include deadlines and action steps. They should be challenging enough to inspire you, but realistic enough to achieve. They should be your goals, not someone else's expectations for you. But don't just read your goals, see them happening in your mind. Spend a few minutes visualizing yourself achieving what you want to achieve. See yourself living the life you want to live. Feel the emotions you'll feel when you reach your destination. This isn't wishful thinking, this is mental rehearsal. Athletes use visualization to improve performance. They see themselves making the perfect shot, running the perfect race, or executing the perfect play. Surgeons use it to practice complex procedures in their mind before they perform them. Successful people use it to program their minds for success. When you visualize consistently, something amazing happens. Your brain starts to believe that what you're seeing is real. It begins to look for ways to make your mental pictures become physical reality. It notices opportunities that support your goals. It gives you ideas for achieving what you want. It builds confidence in your ability to succeed. I've been doing this practice for so long that my goals feel more real to me than my current circumstances. When you program your mind consistently with clear pictures of what you want, you start moving toward those pictures automatically. Your behavior changes. Your decisions improve. Your confidence grows. But here's the key to effective visualization. Don't just see the end result. See yourself doing the work necessary to achieve the result. See yourself taking the actions, making the calls, having the conversations, and overcoming the obstacles. See yourself being the person you need to be to achieve. The fifth and most important thing is to practice gratitude and positive self-talk. How you talk to yourself determines how you feel about yourself. And how you feel about yourself determines what you do with yourself. Start each day by acknowledging what you're grateful for, not just the big things, but the small things too. Your health, your family, your opportunities, your ability to learn and grow. Gratitude changes your entire perspective. When you focus on what you have, you attract more good things into your life. When you focus on what you lack, you attract more problems. Gratitude is like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. The stronger it becomes, the more you notice things to be grateful for. Most people take their blessings for granted until they lose them. Don't wait until you lose something to appreciate it. Appreciate it now while you still have it. I've met people who have very little but are incredibly happy. I've also met people who have everything but are miserable. The difference isn't what they have. The difference is what they focus on. Happy people focus on what they have. Unhappy people focus on what they lack. Here's what happens when you practice gratitude consistently. Your mood improves. Your relationships get better. Your health benefits. Your work performance increases. Your creativity expands. Your problems seem smaller. Your opportunities seem bigger. Your life becomes more enjoyable. Then talk to yourself the way you would talk to someone you care about. Encourage yourself. Remind yourself of your capabilities. Acknowledge your progress. Affirm your commitment to growth and success. Your self-talk becomes your reality, so make it positive and powerful. Most people are their own worst enemy. They talk to themselves in ways they would never talk to a friend. They criticize themselves constantly. They focus on their mistakes instead of their progress. They remind themselves of their failures instead of their successes. They program themselves for mediocrity instead of excellence. I learned this from studying successful people. They all have something in common. They talk to themselves better than unsuccessful people do. They encourage themselves instead of criticizing themselves. They focus on possibilities instead of problems. They program their minds for success instead of failure. Your self-talk is the most important conversation you'll have all day. It determines your mood, your confidence, your actions, and your results. Make sure it's working for you, not against you. Make sure it's building you up, not tearing you down. Here's what happens when you combine all 5 of these practices. Reading feeds your mind with valuable information. Exercise strengthens your body and builds discipline. Proper nutrition gives you sustained energy and mental clarity. Goal review and visualization program your subconscious for success. Gratitude and positive self-talk create the right emotional state for achievement. These 5 practices work together like instruments in an orchestra. Each one is valuable by itself, but together they create something beautiful and powerful. They rewire your brain for success, happiness, and achievement. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Jim, this sounds like a lot to do every morning. I don't have time for all of this. Let me tell you something about time. You don't find time for what matters. You make time for what matters. And nothing matters more than programming your mind for success. These 5 practices take about an hour total. Reading for 30 minutes, exercise for 15 minutes, proper breakfast for 10 minutes, goal review and visualization for 5 minutes. That's 1 hour out of 24. Most people spend more time than that watching television or scrolling through social media. But here's the real truth about time. When you start your day with these practices, you don't lose time, you gain time. You think clearer, so you make better decisions faster. You have more energy, so you get more done. You're more focused, so you waste less time on things that don't matter. You're more confident, so you take action instead of hesitating. The investment you make in your morning routine pays dividends all day long. It's like compound interest for your personal development. Small actions taken consistently create extraordinary results over time. I want to challenge you to try this for 30 days. Not 30 days of perfection, but 30 days of consistent effort. Some mornings will be better than others. Some days you might only have time for 3 of the 5 practices. That's okay. Progress, not perfection, is the goal. Here's what will happen if you accept this challenge. The first week, you'll feel different. You'll have more energy, think more clearly, and feel more positive about your life. The second week, other people will start noticing changes in you. You'll be more confident, more focused, and more optimistic. The third week, you'll start seeing results in your work, relationships, and personal goals. By the fourth week, you won't want to stop because you'll realize you've found something powerful. But here's the warning. This only works if you work it. These aren't magic formulas that work by themselves. They're tools that become powerful when you use them consistently. You can't read about exercise and get stronger. You can't think about gratitude and feel grateful. You have to do the work. Most people know what to do, but don't do what they know. They collect information, but don't apply it. They attend seminars, buy books, and make plans, but they don't change their daily habits. Don't let that be you. Take what you've learned today and use it tomorrow morning. Your life will change when your mornings change. Your mornings will change when you decide they must change. That decision is the starting point of all achievement, all success, and all personal transformation. I've shared with you today what took me years to learn and decades to master. These 5 morning practices have been the foundation of every success I've achieved, every goal I've reached, and every dream I've turned into reality. They can do the same for you, but only if you make them part of your life. The alarm clock will ring tomorrow morning just like it always does, but tomorrow morning can be different if you decide to make it different. You can wake up and do what you've always done, or you can wake up and begin the process of becoming who you've always wanted to be. The choice is yours. The power is in your hands. The time is now. Your extraordinary life is waiting for you on the other side of an extraordinary morning routine. Don't let another day pass without taking action on what you know is right. Start tomorrow. Start with just one of these practices if you have to, but start. Your future self will thank you for the investment you make in these quiet morning moments. This is me reminding you that you have the power to change your life by changing your mornings. The question is, will you use that power? Your success starts tomorrow at sunrise. Make it count.